All right. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Rock and Roll Ghost Podcast. This week we have actor Warren Burke, who stars as Sergeant Poe in Walter Hill's new film Dead for a Dollar, which is being released in theaters and on video on Friday. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So you can watch it at home if you can't seem to find it at a theater near you. But if you have the chance to see the theater, I'd recommend it. Welcome to the show, Warren. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you. All right, I'm going to start where it seems like it maybe all began for you. You're from Chicago, right?
That's correct.
All right, me too.
Oh, great.
Where'd you grow up?
In Hyde Park, the Hyde Park area.
Okay. Yeah.
Institute for high school as well.
Nice. Yeah, I grew up in Blue Island.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So kind of fellow Southsiders in a way.
Yeah.
Hyde Park's really changed a lot. You still got family there?
I do. It has changed quite a bit, though. You know,
It's gotten very cool.
Yeah, it's gotten really, really cool, hasn't it? Such the growth of that neighborhood. But no, I was around during there, just basically all my life, just growing up there, and with my two parents, they're both doctors, so I was like, to live in Hyde Park is like, for me, I'm Theo Huxtable,
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. But not necessarily super privileged, but still elements that allow me just to have a wider perspective of life than just the South Side, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, people, if you say you're from the South Side of Chicago, people don't realize that Hyde Park's always been a semi middle upper class affluent area. Even it still gets kind of confused, but like we were saying, I mean, Hyde Park's really, because of the university, because of probably has to do something with Obama, in general, just the area, Hyde Park in particular has gone from being, a nice neighborhood to being something like where people can hang out and not have to travel all the way down to the city for something cool.
Yeah. Pretty accessible too to downtown, which is pretty
Yeah.
Back there? I probably live in like the South Loop. The South Loop looks like it's fun and great.
South Loop's everything's expensive now though.
Parenthood maybe.
Yeah. When was the last time you were able to go back? Are your parents still there?
Oh, I think it was for Mother's Day. I went back to go see my mom. Yeah. And the whole family, we all got together and just had a good time. It was a really good time to just take a set down and see Chicago. Got some Giordano's. Got to get some Giordano's every time I go.
You're a Giordano's fan, huh?
Gotta be Giordano's. I mean, I love pizza altogether, but I think I just go to Giordano's just because it's just such a staple in our household. But we love.
That seems to be the case.
You say
people. That seems to be the case. People of the Chicago chain pizzas, people tend to grow up on one or something. Something got acclimated to one, and they just. For me, it's Lou's. It's Lou's.
Oh, Lou's. Lou's is great. You can't lose at Lou's. That's great.
What do you miss most about living in Chicago?
I would have to say the season's changing. I miss fall. I miss, it raining every now and again, maybe a little gloomy. It seems like me living here in LA, I feel like anytime we have a gloomy day, people just lose their minds. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, where's the sun? But I do miss the seasons, and to a certain degree, those seasons help build character within people. We're not so entitled, where I feel like there's a little bit of that in LA, a little bit of entitlement. But in the places like Chicago that have 4 seasons, there's a certain down to earthness to it, because no matter how much money is in your bank account, you feel the rain, you feel the snow, you feel the cold.
Yeah, we've all been walking outside in Chicago winters.
Exactly.
Getting a lot of snow in our shoes or boots or whatever.
Yeah.
I had another question for you. I'm sorry.
Take your time. No worries.
It flew out. But when did you? What age did you move out to LA? I know you kind of made not an impulsive decision, but you made a decision to pursue acting. So at what point did you move out?
I want to say I was 22. I just graduated college. Was working at the local newspaper in Des Moines, Iowa, of all places, at the Des Moines Register. And I just graduated. So I think I was 21 and I turned 22 in October. And then 22 and in October, I'm sorry, Christmas of 2009 when I was 22. That's when I made the leap of faith. So I think I was young. It's so crazy because if a 22-year-old were to be like, hey, I want to quit my job in the middle of winter and move to LA to pursue acting, if they ask me that right now, I'd be like, are you crazy? Don't do that. Why would you get something stable? Make a plan. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Exactly what I did. So I can't even be critical. I'd be like, hey, if you really have that strong belief system, if you really see the vision that nobody else can see, if you really, really, really do see it, because if at any point, if you're like, oh, I can always do that, do this other thing, go do that. Go do that. Because it takes passion, it takes grit, it takes a true weird type of love to really maintain and me in the position where I'm at today. So
yeah. Well, I noticed, I looked at some of your credits, and I'll be honest, Dead for a Dollar is the first time I've personally seen you in anything. And I saw you were like a regular on Jimmy Kimmel Live. It's like part of like bits and stuff, right?
I'm so looking forward to that moment because I don't even think Jimmy remembers, but I got to get on his couch, man, to just be like, bro, do you remember me? I am in all of your sketches.
yeah, because I was gonna say you have a lot of mentions on IMDb for Kimmel.
I am in so many of that guy's sketches, man. It was so much fun. I remember those times. That's crazy. You did bringing that up. You're the first to bring that up. I miss those days.
Yeah. So you didn't have much interaction with Jimmy, I'm gathering.
Not too much. I think I would see him around for sure. Definitely see him around, but I think he was just so fixated on so many other things for us to just do this like quick sketch or stuff, for this quick.
Well, that's how a lot of people. I mean, I remember watching Fallon when he had the late night show, which I think is still infinitely cooler than the Tonight Show. Oh, yeah. I miss that late night show. It was fun. I mean, do you ever watch Fallon back in the early days of the late night?
Of course, dude. I mean,
because he was doing the sketches with set inside the NBC tower.
Yeah.
And then Questlove was always like drama.
Yeah.
It's like, but they had a cool setup with the band, with the whole balcony and everything. And it's just that I think he could have easily done that another 5-10 years and then transition, but because I don't think there's anything as cool as that right now on late night, in my opinion.
Yeah, easily. I don't see it. I mean, we're shifting as a culture, as a society, and what used to be funny isn't as funny anymore, I guess. So we're just finding a new. I think there is a transfer though. I'm noticing. Yeah,
it's just everything in late night to me is a little softer, or if not softer, then it's, in my opinion, like sometimes too political. Which I'm a pretty political person, but I don't know. I'm not going to get on that rant.
No, it's all good.
No, I was just going to say that I think with Jon Stewart and The Daily Show, they brought this idea that comedians now have to be hardcore political, and I don't need that for everybody. I don't need that everybody sit there acting like they're an anchor on a cable news channel or something.
I think it's because I guess when you're a comedian, you are you make people laugh, and if you are able to have that type of influence, people just see like, well, if you are talking and you made me laugh, influence me to laugh, perhaps you can influence me in my voting.
I guess because I grew up on like Carson, because I'm older. Carson was just kind of like, he made fun of everybody, so it's like you couldn't tell what his deal was, which got him the ability to have everybody on too. It's like I think sometimes making that line in the sand also polarizes an audience, but then I also think today's times are so crazy that you have to kind of take a stand in a way too. So who knows who's
like, if I was around during Carson times, I easily would have gone the route of being a stand-up comedian. Yeah, I feel like getting on that stage, it was just so predicated.
Well, that was it.
You're good after that.
Yeah. No, and the best would be if he invited you to come on and sit on the couch.
Yeah.
Because that was something special. Well, I'm going to get off that. So let's talk about Dead for a Dollar. You're not a insignificant character in this. You're a major supporting character. I wasn't sure how you'd play out in the film, to be honest, but I gotta say, I give it to you, man. You made a real impression on me watching it. I thought your character of Poe was really fantastic. You were dealing with a lot of it doesn't go hardcore into the divisions of the time, the growing idea that women are, eventually going to, have the right to vote and have more of a place in society, or black people were just, in the early stages of being, freed. But it hints at a lot of that. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering how that role was for you to play, and what did you find out about maybe things from the past that you might not have known about?
Great question, man. It was such a joy to be able to be right next to Christoph Waltz as a student in the craft. Was such an amazing moment. We spoke of so much, and I always like to say that, in regards to the history element, there's this thing of cowboys, bro, that because I did a lot of research and everything. Did you know this, that cowboys, get this, was originally the term for African American people? So, and it
maybe it sounds vaguely familiar, but I'm not sure if I definitely have that in my memory.
It derived from the plantation days, where there were slave owners, and the slave owners, especially the wealthy ones, they were able to have different people, slaves for different things. So there would be, and boy was what African American men were referred to in slave time. So those are your chicken boys, your donkey boys, and there's your cowboys.
Cowboys, yeah, that makes sense.
I wonder if Dallas knows that. Which is crazy. But and how it transcends into, if they were the cowboys, so to speak, who are the horse boys? Like, how are cowboys the ones who ride horse? I don't know.
It's also really interesting if that being the case, of how it transitioned to being, used across the board, and in movies and in Western novels and stuff like that. It's interesting.
It's very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. But yeah, man, it was really cool finding out about the Buffalo Soldiers and doing research from there. I took upon the task that I'd always heard about, the 50-page biography, and journaling every single moment that led up to the beginning of the script that Walter had. So a lot of my time was spent just like pulling out like maybe 2 to 5 pages a day, just writing, getting the story. Who was this guy? Who was his parents like? Were they involved in his life? Where was, when did he decide that he wanted to be in the Army? What was his relationship with Elijah Jones like before Elijah? Because it had to be cool at some point.
Yeah.
It was, what kind of women was he into? And all these different elements that aren't even on the page, that I really took a lesson into really diving deep into this character. So, and for me, with it being in 1897, I just was, and an empowered black man in 1897. Oh yeah, I was excited about this.
Sure. I mean, the movie does play probably historically, look, a lot of you figure a lot of things would have been felt or said differently if this situation were really in the past, but I think there's also a sense that you have to make it for modern day audiences. So you acknowledge the troubled history, but also place your characters outside of that history in a way too, that so they could exist, and so you could have a film that showcases, that it wasn't just all white people running around, back then, all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry about it. I had this siren going past that.
No, you're good.
But yeah, absolutely. And for Rachel, she was so wonderful. As such a sweet woman. She came on that set, and keep in mind, it's dominantly like men there. For her to just set such a precedent with her skill, her poise, her class, it was on a different level. Truly. Yeah. Every single human being I was around during that time was just A1. It's one of the best productions I've ever done, hands down.
Yeah. What was the casting situation like? How many times did you get kind of called back in before you got it?
It's so funny. So, a lot of times when you have these auditions, you have a callback, you have the audition, and then you have a callback, and then there's a chemistry read, like a director session. And then sometimes there's even a test, like, let's just test it out how you are with these actors that we really are going to get, right? I only had one audition, man. Just one.
That's cool.
Just one. No callback, no nothing. Because keep in mind, this is Walter Hill. You know, Walter's been around for a while, and he's very much has a well-versed understanding who and what can say the lines and portray the characters that he's created in his mind. So I guess when you know it, you know it. You know, especially when you've done 30 plus films years later. So yeah, man, it was just one audition.
Yeah. What films of his had you seen prior to getting cast?
Oh, my favorite is Warriors for sure.
Yeah.
Warriors, come out and play. And Alien fan for sure. All of his Alien movies. Obviously, the research that I was doing, I deep dove into all his westerns. We were talking about on set what he did. Oh God, this is so bad that I forgot the name of it. I gotta look it up. You put me on the spot here, man. But I'm gonna get this ready for tomorrow for sure. When I see him, the movie where he his horses jumped through the window, and he was like so excited.
The Long Riders.
Long Ride, yeah, there we go, Long Rider.
Okay, because he's done a few westerns. He did that. He did Geronimo.
Long Rider, that's the special one. That's the that's his hit. That's one of his hits. And I think it's because of that scene when these horses jump through the glass. I'm like, you gotta let me know. As someone who has been horse training for this role before I got to Santa Fe, and also while I was in Santa Fe, New Mexico, like I know what it's like to ride a horse. How do you get a horse to jump through a window? And I'm pretty sure I'm looking at how the angles, you kept setting it up. You're setting it up. There's different angles. You have several cameras. What's going on? And he was like, no, Warren, it was never a window. I was like, what?
What was it?
It was nothing. It was like, we just had a sheet up and then that's special effects.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah. And it's
interesting.
Just kept running through it. And like jumping.
I figured maybe it would be like,
just like,
sugar glass or something.
Sugar glass, right. But he said it was like, no, never. Because it would have scared them. It would have scared the horses, probably. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. So cool. Yeah, you don't want a skittish horse kicking somebody in the back of the head.
Especially on set. Oh my gosh.
Had you ever ridden a horse before this?
I've ridden a few times, but there's when I got the role, there's a gentleman by the name of Reginald Dorsey. He lives in his ranch is in Selmer, California, and I just gave him a call through a mutual friend that got us in contact, and he was like, he took upon this duty of just training me like hardcore, like not just riding, but you got to learn how to put the stirrups on and learn how to pluck out the mud underneath the hooves, like putting your shoulder into the thigh and plucking out the mud that gets into their hooves. Like, oh my God, I'm learning about horses for real. And you got to do all this before you get on the horse. And then once you get on the horse, learn how to trot and and then we were galloping, man. We went out into the woods. He really took me under his wing to make sure I really, really, really was comfortable on a horse before coming to Santa Fe. So I gotta give credit to that. So to answer your question, if you would have asked me that like before I got the role, I'd be like, I've gone horseback riding, like was it tail and nose and tail down a trail, Malibu or something, on a date. But no, as far as galloping and doing it specifically for camera. No, I spent the next 2 months with Reginald before I got to Santa Fe.
That's pretty cool. What was the most surprising thing on the set? I mean, interaction or scene or
most surprising
what have you?
Thing on set. The most surprising thing. What was the most surprising thing? How excellent Brandon Scott is as an actor. Like, I mean, excellent. Like, you already know somebody's good. Because like obviously Christoph and Willem, incredible. And Rachel, great, incredibly great. And it's not that I thought Brandon was like not good. I definitely thought it was good and I saw stuff. But no, Brandon Scott is excellent. He's one of the finest actors of today. Like truly. How he portrayed Elijah Jones, it really drew me in a different type of way. Well, it drew Poe in, I guess, to speak from that. And we spoke about it. We spoke so much about it where it's like, wow, you truly, whatever his process was to truly capture Elijah Jones, and for me to like have such a disdainment toward him or just going about this way. So I was genuinely And I mean, I truly mean, I thought he was like good, but he's excellent. You know, I don't know if I'm making sense. Like he really
no,
is.
I get you.
I truly think he's one of the best. Truly. So
did you guys work on your kind of history with each other at all?
we did. We linked up and we had a brunch and spoke for the next 5 hours about just the character and, you know, what it means to be black men in 1897 and how is this, you know, relationship with, you know, we even got to the roots of like, oh man, it's very interesting that Walter wrote these two black men from this perspective, because not only do they have two different perspectives, like one feeling that I need to stay with the tradition and stay within, you know, the right reins because that's what afforded me society, and the other being that, hey, I need to rebel against the system. I need to leave. I need to go with what feels right. And seeing these two clash while at the same time struggling with their identity within themselves, so well done. And I think Brandon hits it nail on the head when I'm like in front of it. I loved it.
Yeah, because like you said, there's a lot of, you know, like what I think I was alluding to earlier, there's a lot of things that are there. They're on the surface, right, but they're not over. You're not sitting there having like a 15-minute monologue with whoever about being a black man in 1897. You're saying things. You're saying things plainly, and it's up to the audience to be up to that. It's up to the audience to be able to know what's in between the lines. Like if you don't have any clue, then there's something, you just don't know history.
You're right. Very true.
But I think I think that relationship was really interesting, especially all the time you guys spent together in the jail scene.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. I had such a good time. Santa Fe,
yeah,
place too. Have you seen by chance The Harder They Fall?
That's one of those movies. Unfortunately, it's one of those movies that I started watching, and for some reason, it was late at night, and through the pandemic, I have at least 50 movies that I've half watched.
Oh yeah.
That I need to go back and finish somehow. I mean, I'm talking like stuff like Injustice for All with Al Pacino. I would start watching them at night, and I would drift off, and then I'd be like, oh crap, I fell asleep watching that movie.
I need to watch movies in the daytime too, bro. Because when I get on that couch, it's like, I don't know why we are so comfortable. Like we always think that it's late. Let me watch this movie, sit on this comfortable couch. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna stay awake for 2 hours.
yeah. But that's the killer cast.
Yeah,
I mean that cast is insane. The Harder They Fall cast is just absolutely so good. Stacked.
Yeah. So here's the thing. What's so funny is that we were shooting on the exact same set as The Harder They Fall, which is crazy. I saw the premiere and the town. I was like, oh my God, that's the exact same town that we had, And what was even crazier is that the crew and all the people that were working behind the scenes for The Harder They Fall, and then also Dead for a Dollar, they also went to Rust, the new movie Rust. And that's a movie where Alec Baldwin had the unfortunate accident.
Oh yeah. I forgot about Rust.
So for us all to be like, it's just like, wait, what? Directly after us. And as you said, you saw the movie. We're all, the cast talking about like, man, could that have been us?
Yeah. No, for real. That's that whole circumstance is very, very strange.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's obviously brought a certain kind of reckoning to certain aspects of filming. When did you actually film Dead for a Dollar?
I believe it was last August, last July,
okay.
August and September. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's right, because The Harder They Fall just came out last winter, right?
Yeah, last November.
Okay. Yeah, that's how you guys were back to back.
The year.
Yeah. I believe so. Yeah. So I'm just trying to get kind of acclimated on where I was at. Well, you spend most of your time with Christoph. Can you talk about how working with him was?
Oh, it was absolutely wonderful. Christoph is such a great guy. What's so funny is that, so when you get to set, right, it's on a ranch. You go inside of the entrance of the ranch and you've got about a 3 to 4 minute drive to base camp. Base camp is, say, 0.8 miles away from where we'll actually be shooting. So we are all given transportation cars when we have to, get into, our wardrobe and head on off. Well, Christoph decides that I'm going to walk. I'm going to walk from base camp, walk these zero point 0.8 miles to and from. Does Christoph have an assistant? Does he have an assistant with his car? Absolutely. But does he want to take the car? No, he wants to walk. And so I'm in my car and I'm driving past it. I'm like, why is Christoph walking? It's like, because he wants to. I was like, what? And so I thought about it. I was like, I'm with him for a majority of the film where it's he and I on this journey across the land. Why not go method on this and just walk right next to it from base? And
Yeah.
so I'm like, all right, man, let me out. I'm going to walk with him. And he lets me out. And what I thought was just a lesson of just being on this journey for my own actor, for actor wise, like, yeah, this will be good for, Max Borland and Sergeant Poe to just be going at it. Yeah. It turned into this wonderful getting to know of such a real human being. Like he told me everything.
Yeah.
He told me so many stories. But at the end of the day, this man is nothing less. He's one of the most authentic people I've ever met. He truly is. So clear and transparent and real, and has a clear, assertive mentality over all the things he's doing, whether it be personal or active. Like he really gets it. He gets life.
Yeah.
And, it was just such an honor, and how relaxed he was talking about his family. And turns out we both are Libras, which was even cool. We're both born in October. So for the movie to be coming out now, we're like, oh man, this is such a great celebration. Celebration, But
he's somebody that I like in a lot of stuff. I mean, my two before this movie, my two favorite films of his were the ones he did with Tarantino, where he won Oscars for both. I mean, which is pretty crazy to begin with. Yeah. But this is by far my favorite performance of his, and I can't exactly pinpoint why. Probably because he's just so he underplays it really coolly. He's very relaxed.
Yeah.
On the screen, there's nothing showy about it. He's just a guy. He's there to do a job. The job changes on him, so he changes because of that. Mm-hmm. And there's not like this big, I'm a hero now thing. It's just, it's the way it is. Right is right and wrong is wrong, and that's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
And I love that there's not this sense of preachiness. There's no over the top thing. Mm-hmm. It's just that people recognize what the truth is, and they go to the way to the truth, or they don't.
Sure, that is true.
Yeah,
that is true. I love that.
And the other thing I loved about the movie is just the fact that, especially the setup, it is the ease with following other aspects of other characters. Mm-hmm. Because that in the end, no matter what happens, it's all going to converge.
Yeah.
With everybody being in the same place at once, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like a thing of Walter Hill's movies. Usually, there's a big blow up at the end of the movie, and a lot of people die. Or at the very least, if a lot of people don't die, a lot of people still get shot too. Mm-hmm. We'll just say that a lot of people get shot.
I don't want to ruin it. Yeah,
that's not spoiling anything that people.
I don't want to spoil it at all.
I'm not saying who got. I'm not saying who gets shot, but people get shot. Yeah. People are going to get shot. Right. If you have a Western where nobody gets
really,
yeah. If you have a Western where nobody gets shot, it's I don't know what the hell that is.
Oh man, we're weird people, but yeah.
And I also thought the weird thing is when you guys are burying the dude at the ranch, and I started thinking about, God damn, how many people you think are buried in anonymous graves across this country over the last 300 years?
I didn't even.
Somebody's gonna put up a marker for that idiot.
Oh, crazy! When you get that eerie feeling when you're in the middle of nowhere, it's like it's probably them.
Yeah. Ain't that something?
Yeah.
What was working with Walter like?
Now, if Christoph is one of the most authentic, transparent people I've ever worked with, Walter was like the most I've ever felt like I've had a mentor. Walter was telling the secrets, like straight up, of giving you away the jewels and the keys of what got him in the position. It was all I could do is just be quiet and just listen when I'm around him. He just has a wealth of knowledge. It's just with his history that he's done, and for me to be such a fan of him already was just, I didn't know what I could say. I just wanted just to listen and soak in all the information. He's so friendly and kind and really like wanted to make sure I was like, but not only just okay, but he knew that I have aspirations of directing, and he wanted me to come on set when I wasn't my shoot days and sit right next to him and check out all these individual shots that he's doing. I'm like, this is why I'm doing it. And I'm just like, okay, cool, great, cool. It's like one of those rare opportunities that I didn't let just go down the drain. And he gets it. He gets it. He really, really does get it. He has a very particular eye. So I'm not at all surprised why all the accolades have been given to him, because he's truly is a master and such a kind person to work with. Truly.
Yeah. Well, what do you have anything coming up after this? Are you working on anything now, or is there something waiting to come out?
Yeah. My show Family Reunion, which is on Netflix.
Right.
Season 3 comes out October 27th. It's the final season, and I'm pretty much seen throughout the entire season, and plenty enough with Family Reunion. The mother on the show, the grandmother, I'm sorry, is the infamous legendary Loretta Devine. And I wrote a short film, which will be in production in October 22nd, October 23rd. Filming this short I wrote entitled Lucille, which is a tale of 70-something-year-old lovers. And we always wonder about our grandparents, like what they were like in love. But I really want to showcase that and to touch on like what is in their mind. We see so many films with, the 16-year-old, 20-something, 30, 40 leading man or leading woman, but we never see like, what is a 70-year-old woman thinking from her perspective in regards to love, in regards to life, in regards to death, and so much more. So we'll be shooting that in October and set to hit the festival circuit in 2023.
Okay, awesome. That's a short film or a?
It's a short. It is a
short film. Okay. I figure. Yeah, you said you were only filming for 2 days, so that kind of makes sense.
It's a quick shoot. Powerful. Very, very powerful.
Yeah, I saw you had some directing here and there prior to this. Is this your first kind of outside of TV project?
I would say so. This is my first time outside of television. Truly, it's a passion project that's based on my grandmother when she was alive, and just watching her essence, but also, it's with a slight twist in regards to how she was with her husband. It's something that I truly am excited about, not just because of the story, but also we are also filming the day after my birthday, which is October 21st. So just a good time, just a good vibe to create, and I'm so excited to get Loretta Devine and playing opposite her is Frankie Faison, who's in Coming to America.
Oh, I love Frankie Faison.
So good. He's so good. Such a kind heart. So Once Dead for a Dollar is, as we're moving with the press and everything and the build up, especially with the premiere, as soon as that is at still waters, I'll be jumping into a whole new pond with Family Reunion and Lucille. So,
that's awesome. That's awesome. Any other acting besides that coming out?
As of right now, we're just chilling. We're just churning away. I have a lot of things come off, a lot of offers, and we're just kind of pick and choosing. Essentially, the element is just, hey, I'm Warren Burke. I'm a leading man. I'm here. I'm ready to really take on the large giants that are within the entertainment industry with so much love and kindness and gratitude. And yeah, man, I'm just open to the next thing. Ready for the ride.
Well, I really hope big things, are coming because I thought you were just amazing as Poe.
Oh,
it was a character I wasn't sure was gonna. I'll be honest, I wasn't. You don't know with supporting characters like how much is actually going to be invested in them. If you're just going to be a guy standing around with a gun and then it gets like, then they kill him off in like the middle of the movie or something like that. You don't know going into something, because in perhaps any other film, the Black Army guy might get killed in the middle of the movie because, oh no, he was a good guy, but because he isn't the white lead, he's gone, so it's kind of cool that, you're in, no matter, this isn't really a spoiler, but he's in the whole movie.
Don't spoil it for him. Am I?
It doesn't mean he gets out of it, okay? It just means, or it doesn't mean he doesn't. He's just in the whole movie. So it's up to you to go check that out.
Got to check it out.
See it.
This
and
Friday.
Dead for $1 out theaters and on video. Warren, it was a true pleasure talking to you today. Again wish you nothing but the best. And
I got some more stuff coming on. I'm gonna hit you up, man. I got to do this.
Right.
You're fun. This is great.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
No problem, man.
All right, man. You have a good rest of your day.
You too, buddy. Take care.
All right. Bye.